Grace, I'm really sorry I didn't greet you properly when we bumped into each other earlier.
You don't have to apologize for that. You were in the middle of lunch with someone, weren't you? I didn't see who you were with, but I didn't want to bother you, so I just gave a little wave.
Yeah, I was so surprised to see you. I never imagined that you were at the same hotel, so it made me jump when I caught sight of you. I must have looked so stupid being scared like that.
That's not true. You look just as pretty as ever.
Thank you so much. What about you? Were you at the hotel with Dylan's dad?
Well, I was actually at the hotel for an event. A friend of mine received an award, and we decided to celebrate by having something to eat in the hotel lounge after it was finished.
An award? That's amazing. It must have been a really prestigious award if they held the presentation at such a luxurious hotel like this one. But I'm not surprised that your friends are just as successful and celebrated as you are. They say that birds of a feather flock together after all.
Oh, stop it. My friend may be pretty amazing for receiving an award, but there's nothing special about me. I'm not as amazing as you say I am. I'm just a regular old housewife.
What are you talking about? You may be retired now, but you're still a top-class businesswoman. I wouldn't be surprised if you went out in history as one of the most successful business people of our time. I don't watch the news a lot, but I knew all about you since way before Dylan and I got engaged. You're not only beautiful, but you're an independent, high-achieving businesswoman, and I seriously respect you so much for it. I'm so proud to be able to call you my mother-in-law.
You're so good at buttering me up, Amelia. I wasn't everything you say I was, but I'm really flattered that you think so.
And you're just being humble. I really do think that you're an amazing person, Grace. Oh, I know. What do you think about going out to have something to eat sometime? I've had a lot of time on my hands ever since Dylan went on his business trip, and I'd be really happy if you could have some time away with me.
Come to think of it, he said that he would be gone for a while. How has it been without him so far? Is there anything you've been having trouble with since Dylan left for his trip?
It's only been for a few days, and nothing's come up so far, but I guess the main problem is that I feel really lonely without him. I miss him a lot already. It didn't occur to me until he was gone, but we haven't spent a single day apart since we got married. And now he's not at home. I sometimes feel a little anxious, and I just want to hear his voice. I didn't realize how scary it could be for a woman to live alone in such a big apartment like this. I never thought about it like that until now.
That's true. It's only been about a year since you both got married, so I can imagine that it must feel strange not having him within reach all of a sudden. If anything, considering that you'll be together for the rest of your lives, you're pretty much still newlyweds.
I know! That's exactly what I thought too. It was really horrible of him to go and decide to go on this business trip and leave me all alone when we should be spending our honeymoon period together. I was thinking about tagging along with him, but he said no, telling me that there was a possibility that he would have to come straight back within a few days. He didn't even let me argue that I didn't care how long it would take.
He must have been worried because he's going abroad this time. The country he's going to isn't very stable, and he must have asked you to stay at home because he didn't want to risk your safety.
But I don't see why I couldn't go with him. If he wasn't going to be away for that long, I wouldn't have minded just going for a short while. But he told me that I didn't have to go with him and made his mind up. I get that he's worried, but I really do miss him.
He's going for work, and you'd be bored if you had to spend the entire time waiting at the hotel for him, wouldn't you? It's not the sort of place that you could go sightseeing on your own. Dylan just wants to make sure that you're safe. You're important to him, and he doesn't want you to get caught up in anything dangerous. But I get how you feel. It does sound like he's being a little excessive.
That's true. And to be honest, I do love that about him. How he gets worried about the littlest things.
I'm glad you both get on so well. It's wonderful to see you both so in love.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I started out complaining about him and now I'm just gushing.
No, it's okay. I'm really happy to hear your complaints and your gushings. Hearing you sound so happy together makes me relieved that my son managed to find the perfect partner. You're kind, caring, and so attentive. Thank you for being so in love with my son, Amelia.
That's all I've got to bring to the table after all. I'm so happy that Dylan asked me to marry him, even though I'm not even that pretty, and I've been having such a hard time finding work. All I have to give him is my love.
And that's all that matters, Amelia. Even if you had everything, it wouldn't have been worth the same. As long as you don't forget those feelings for him, you'll be able to overcome any obstacle or fight that comes your way.
Yeah, Thank you so much, Grace. I'll make sure I take good care of Dylan. I hope we can go out to have something to eat soon.
Yes, of course, I'd love to. I'll look for a restaurant we can try out.
Hey, Mom, do you have some time to talk? Or are you still in the middle of having dinner? I can get back to you later if it's a bad time.
Dylan, what is it? Your dad's going to be late home tonight, so I'm waiting on him to have dinner. What did you want to talk about?
Oh, really? Good. The truth is, there's something I wanted to ask you to do for me.
Is it really something I can do for you? What is it? It's so rare for you to ask me for a favor.
Yeah, it's about Amelia, and you're really the only person I can ask.
Oh, Amelia told me how you banned her from coming with you on your business trip. You should have read what she said to me. It was so sweet. She was pouting because she felt so lonely without you, and because you wouldn't even consider letting her tag along. She sounded pretty sad that you had left her all on her own. Couldn't you have let her come with you, even if just for a short while?
No, I'm not having that conversation again. It's too risky. There are a lot of tourists here, but they're mostly in groups. As for Amelia, I'll be stuck in the office, so she'll be alone. To top it off, she can't speak the local language, and she got a terrible sense of direction. How's she supposed to make it around? There are some places in the world that are just a little too dangerous for women to walk around alone. I know that she's capable of taking care of herself, but no matter how capable she is, everyone has their limits.
But Amelia's not a child. You don't have to protect her from everything. I think you're being a little over the top.
Mom, you should know that going abroad needs a lot more resolve than just being positive and happy-go-lucky. If she really wanted to come, she'd have to make the effort necessary to get by on her own. Not everyone in the world speaks English, and if she really was interested in sightseeing in this area, she should do as the Romans do and learn some basic phrases and language used here. What's she going to do when she gets hungry when I'm not around and goes to a restaurant only to realize that she can't read anything on the menu? Or can't even pay the bill without being ripped off? It scares me just thinking about it.
Well, I suppose you're right. It's probably for the best for her to stay put. I guess there's no place like home. But she really is lonely, so could you at least work something out so that you'll get your work done quickly and come home sooner? Or at least plan some visits to come back home every now and then to see her. I understand that you must be busy, and that it'll be difficult to find that time in between all the business meetings you must have, but it's just a suggestion.
Yeah, I know. I'll try and get everything done as fast as possible.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think you'll ever find a woman that loves you as much as Amelia does, so I just don't want you to end up drifting apart because of your work. She's such a lovely daughter-in-law, too. I couldn't have asked for anyone better to be your wife. Did I tell you that she bought me a present when we went out to eat the other day? It was wrapped up in the most beautiful paper, and inside was a box of herbal teas. She told me that it was a selection of teas that are good for the body, some for blood circulation, some for sleep. She really is very attentive.
Seriously? Mom, can you wait a bit before drinking that tea?
Huh? What for? I've already used half.
Then put a hold on drinking the rest. Amelia's been looking at some pretty fishy stuff online lately, and I don't have a good feeling about the tea you got.
Fishy stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of spiritual stuff. The sellers say that they're good luck and bring good fortune. It's obviously a scam, but Amelia wouldn't listen to me. When I looked some of the consumable stuff up, it had some really questionable ingredients listed. Do you think you could just keep them aside for a second until I take a look at them? I'll check the ingredients when I get back and let you know if it really is okay to drink that tea.
If it's being sold, then I imagine that the FDA would have checked all of that. But all right, I'll send you a photo and keep them out of reach. Oh, before I forget, sorry for going on a tangent. You were saying that you wanted to ask me a favor, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I was actually wondering if you could keep an eye on Amelia for me while I'm away.
You want me to do what? Keep an eye on her? There is no use trying to use a euphemism. You want me to spy on her, don't you? I think that that's going way too far, Dylan. I don't think that that's the right thing to do. Why on earth would you want me to do something like that? Just because Amelia's your wife doesn't mean that you can do something so immoral. Do you understand that?
I do. I'm well aware of how it sounds. But I really need you to do this for me.
Can you at least tell me why you want me to spy on her?
I wish I could tell you, but I don't think it's the right time. But I promise that I'll explain everything afterwards. You're the only one I can ask to do this for me.
Even if you say it like that, I don't feel very comfortable with doing something so invasive.
Just for 1 month, please? Can you just trust me and watch her for another month? I swear that I've got a good reason for all of this. I know that you must feel that it's wrong and that it'll be really difficult for you to follow her, but I wouldn't ask you to do this if I just wanted to spy on my own wife. I'm just asking you to keep an eye on her whenever it's possible.
I've never done something like this before. I really don't like the sound of this. But you never ask me for favors, and you do sound very desperate, so I'll do what I can. But it's just for a month, no longer. I'll watch what Amelia gets up to, and I won't be able to follow her every single day, mind you. I'm just going to watch her on the days that I can. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm not complaining. That's more than enough. Thanks, Mom. I'm really sorry.
You better tell me what all of this about once the month is up. I won't forgive you if you decide not to tell me anything at the end of all of this.
Yeah, I promise you. I'll explain everything when it's over. And please don't tell Amelia what I'm doing.
Of course. There won't be any point to spying on her if I do that. I'll let you know as soon as I find anything that you might want to hear. Dylan, you won't believe what I found. You've got to come home right away.
Huh? Mom? What is it? What did you see? It'll take a few days before I can come home. Just let me know what happened.
I know, but you should see this for yourself. I saw Amelia at the station, and she was waiting to meet with a man I've never seen before. I've been following them for a while, and they're about to go into a hotel together. Oh no! It looks like they already had a room booked. They've gone straight to the elevator.
A hotel? I knew it. Everything's going exactly as I planned.
So, you already had suspicions that Amelia was cheating on you?
Yeah. I'm sorry that I didn't say anything when I first asked you to spy on her for me. I didn't want to tell you until I was 100% sure. It would have been pretty irresponsible if I told you I thought she was having an affair just based on some doubts I had.
I had a vague idea that that was why you were asking me. That's the only reason that could explain you wanting me to watch her for so long. But why did you ask me? Why didn't you go to a private investigator's office? It might have cost money, but it's not like you can't afford it. And they would have been a lot more efficient than I was.
I know. The thing is, I already hired an investigator before, and it didn't go very well.
Oh, really? What happened?
They couldn't find any evidence of her affair. I can afford the rates, but it just gets more expensive the longer the investigation goes on, and it really went on and on.
Yeah, I've heard. But if you had asked me and your dad, we would have been happy to help pay for it.
I know, but there's no point investigating when there's nothing to investigate. Amelia must have clocked on to the PI, because she became super cautious. She stopped meeting with the guy she was sleeping with during the period that I had hired the private investigator, and it all became a waste of time and money. The man I hired told me that it must have been my imagination and told me that the rates would change if I wanted to keep him on her tail for longer. After that, I realized I couldn't rely on a complete stranger to help me.
Oh, honey. That must have been tough.
Yeah, but I also realized that the guy that Amelia's sleeping with is probably someone I'm pretty close with. I had been asking a couple of friends for advice on hiring a private investigator, and that's how she must have found out. The PI didn't get any evidence because Amelia already knew that I was going to hire a private investigator and stopped going out. And the reason why I asked you to follow her is because you have a perfect memory when it comes to people's faces. You've got a superb photographic memory, and I thought that I could use that against them.
Well, you're right about that. I remember exactly what the man looks like. But more importantly, I'm worried about you. Are you feeling okay? This must be a big shock to you to find out that your suspicions were true. You must feel so hurt.
Yeah, it is, but it was much worse before I went on this business trip. I felt a lot worse being suspicious of her having an affair while we were living in the same house. I couldn't help but watch her every move and felt like I was always aware of what she was doing. I was exhausted. But now that we're apart, I've had some time to organize my thoughts and I haven't had to look her in her face. I feel a lot better than I did when I was in the States. To be honest, I'm pretty grateful for this business trip. It also gave us a chance to catch Amelia in the act.
Really? But you're going to come home to end things, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what I'm planning to do. I'll send you some pictures of the people I asked for advice about Amelia's affair, and you can check if you recognize any of them.
All right, I still remember his face, so I should be able to pick him out. But even if you say that I saw them together, that won't be proof enough to win a court case against Amelia. What are you planning to do?
It's okay. Amelia was pretty cautious and managed to keep her affair under wraps. But we don't know that the guy she's sleeping with will be just as cautious. Once you confirm who she was with, I'll hire another private investigator and have them follow him.
If that's your intention, then I can introduce you to an office that a friend of mine relied on when her marriage was on the rocks. It's a small agency, but they're very friendly, and I'm sure that you won't experience the same disappointment you felt when you hired that other investigator.
And thanks, Mom. And sorry for making you spy on Amelia. I know that you really were fond of her and were starting to think of her as a real daughter. If I had any other choice, I wouldn't have asked you to do this.
What are you talking about? I was fond of her because I thought she actually loved you. I don't want you to stay with a woman that has no issue with cheating on you. I'm happy as long as you're happy, Dylan. That's all that matters to me. And I think that leaving her is the best choice for you have right now. I'll do anything I can to help you get through this, and I'm sure your dad will be happy to help too. So don't hesitate to call us for anything. Hello, Amelia.
Grace? How can I help you? It's rare for you to message me this late at night. Is something the matter?
Oh, I'm very sorry for calling you so late, but do you think you can let me stay at your house for the night?
You want to stay over? Tonight? Did something happen?
I know it's very last minute, and I'm asking a lot, but the truth is I actually had an argument with my husband. I don't really want to stay here when we're both in such a bad mood, and I wanted to talk through what happened with someone. Oh, but I can understand if it's too much trouble, and you don't want me barging in this late. The last thing you want is your mother-in-law turning up on your doorstep and demanding to stay for the night.
No, of course not. It's no trouble at all. Can I ask where you are right now?
I'm actually right outside the house.
Oh, really? You're outside? Really sorry, Grace. I know you've come all this way, but do you think that you could go to a cafe and wait there for a while?
Oh, Amelia, aren't you at home?
No, that's not why. I just need to tidy up the house because everything's in a mess. To be honest, I've been slacking a little on the chores since Dylan left for his business trip, that's all. I just need half an hour. I'll be done as soon as possible. Could you give me some time to get everything in order first? It's too embarrassing to invite you into the house as it is.
I don't mind if it's a little messy. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. I've done the same when Dylan's dad has been away for more than a week. I really don't mind.
Oh, but I really do. I'm so sorry, but could you just do this one favor for me? I'll get everything cleaned up in half an hour.
So you're not going to make the excuse that you're at a friend's house? You're really going to act as if you're at home?
Why would I say that? I'm at home. I would never lie to you about that. I owe you too much to lie to you. I could never. I couldn't lie to you, I promise. I just really need to clean up the house, so if you could just give me some time.
That's true. You've always been so honest with me. That's why I was so fond of you and thought that we could get along as real mother and daughter. I believed in your feelings for Dylan and only wanted the best for you both.
Thank you? I'm really happy you think of me as your daughter, but Grace, is something the matter? You don't sound like your usual self. Is it because of the argument you had with Dylan's dad? You must be pretty upset after all.
Actually, that story I told you about having an argument with my husband was a lie.
What?
Amelia, there's no use lying to me. I know that you're not at home right now. And I also know that you're currently with the man you're having an affair with.
What, Grace? Why would you say that? Where on earth did that come from? I'm not having an affair. I would never cheat on Dylan. You know just how much I love Dylan, and that I could never betray him. You know that you're very important to me, too. Why would I ruin our relationship and my marriage to Dylan by having an affair?
That's because you were just acting. You were pretending to be in love with him.
No, that's not true. How could you say something like that? The only one I've ever loved is Dylan. I couldn't even think of being with any other man but him.
Oh, but you know Simon, don't you? The man that Dylan gets along with at work?
No, I don't.
We already know that he's the one you've been sleeping with behind Dylan's back.
No, I haven't.
You dropped your guard the second Dylan went on his business trip and thought that he would never realize what you were up to. And you must have been so relieved when Simon told you that Dylan had stopped being suspicious of you having an affair. You must have thought that he was too easy to trick and that you could do whatever you wanted while he was away. But I've been watching you these past 2 weeks. I know everything you've been doing.
No, wait, Grace. It's not true. I was just with Simon because we're friends. He invited me out to have dinner because he thought I must be lonely without Dylan. But we never crossed any lines.
That's a lie. It wasn't just dinner. I know you've been sleeping with him. I saw you go into a hotel with him, with my own eyes. And we got proof gathered by a private investigator.
I'm sorry. I guess I can't hide it from you anymore.
You're finally going to admit what you've done?
Does Dylan know?
Yes, he does. He's already planning on getting a divorce.
I was just lonely because Dylan was going to be gone for a long time. I just slept with Simon to bury those feelings. I don't actually love him. I couldn't stop myself. Please, Grace, you've got to forgive me. I won't ever betray Dylan ever again. I'll end the relationship I have with Simon, and I'll tell him that I never want to see him ever again. Please, can you talk to Dylan and make him rethink divorcing me? I can't lose him.
I don't have any right to tell Dylan what to do and what not to do with his relationship with you. It's up to him whether he can forgive you or not. Even if I did think that you should stay together, he probably wouldn't listen to anything I said.
But I really love Dylan, but I also really love you. You're like a real mother to me. I don't think that I could ever find a better mother-in-law. I hate the idea of splitting up with Dylan, but I also hate the idea of not being able to talk to you anymore. I want to stay in touch with you.
You never liked me that much. The only thing you're upset about is losing my money, isn't it? What you really want is the fortune I've built up over my career, isn't it? That's why you were so cautious about not being caught out having an affair, and why you were so careful while Dylan was in the country. You took all the steps to make sure he didn't realize you were having an affair, so that you wouldn't risk losing out on inheriting my money.
That's not true. Of course I'm not interested in your fortune. I really love Dylan and you for being such a wonderful people.
Do you remember the tea bags you gave me the other day? I had them examined, and what do you think they found? They found some poisonous ingredients mixed in. It was the kind of poison that would take effect if it was ingested in large amounts over a short period of time, and even if ingested on a regular basis over a longer period of time. And it was determined that the effect was always fatal. You were probably betting on me not realizing how dangerous that tea was, and was hoping that you could divorce Dylan after he inherited my fortune, after my death.
That's not true. It's a misunderstanding. I didn't know what those tea bags had inside.
Even if that's true, you can't deny the fact that you've been having an affair anymore. And it's another fact that no matter how much you struggle, Dylan's going to file for divorce, and my money will be completely out of your reach. Besides, we've done everything we possibly can for investigating your affair. We've pulled out all the stops and paid for every option possible to ensure that we all get the proof we need against you in court. We've even got a recording of you saying how you want me to hurry up and go to hell. And yet, you're still going to try and argue that you don't have any bad intentions? Unbelievable.
I'm sorry. I really am sorry. I'll do anything you want me to. What do you want? I really will do anything. So please, can you just have some mercy? Could you forgive me just this one time? And I'll never cheat on Dylan ever again.
Have mercy? On you? After you tried to poison me?
But I didn't do that on purpose. I really didn't know that it had those ingredients in that tea. And I really don't want to get divorced either. I can't live without Dylan. Please, can't you both give me one more chance? You won't regret it.
I don't have any obligation to give you another chance. Not after what you've done to us. You don't deserve anything from us. The only chance you had to get your hands on my fortune was to just do nothing and live peacefully with my son. If you had been faithful and a little patient, then you probably would have gotten my money someday. My fortune and my son's money would have all been yours, and you could have enjoyed a comfortable, luxurious lifestyle one day. The reason why you failed is because you tried to cover up your lies with more lies and past the point of no return. How did you expect to trick us with that? No matter how good a liar you are, the ones who really love you are bound to see right through all of your lies. After that, I met up with my son, and we caught Amelia and the man she was sleeping with in the act. We all sat down together and gave them a chance to explain themselves. It turns out that Amelia had been telling the truth about her relationship with Simon because they both weren't serious about each other and had only had a physical affair. Simon had no idea that Amelia had tried to poison me and was shocked to hear that he had been sleeping with such a dangerous person. In order to prove that he had nothing to do with her plans to take my fortune, he revealed everything there was to know about how he met Amelia and how often they had been meeting. It sounds like Amelia had the intention to steal my money ever since she met Dylan and married him, not out of love, but with the hope that she could get rid of me faster and take all of his inheritance for herself. In the first place, his inheritance wouldn't have been on the table when it came to them splitting up their assets during divorce. But if she had gone as far as attempt to poison me, then I'm sure that she had something up her sleeve to ensure that she received it, had everything gone the way that she planned. Amelia was apprehended by the police, and when her court case finally came around, she was charged with attempted murder and sentenced to time in prison. During their investigation, the police had found traces of her purchasing the poisonous substances online, and once the evidence was shown to her in questioning, she admitted to buying and mixing the poison in with a tea bag she gave me. I was already shocked enough that Amelia had been having an affair, so it was even more terrifying that she had gone to such lengths to actually cause me harm. I would have never guessed. I'm very lucky that my son was much sharper than I was and persuaded me to stop drinking the tea. It's upsetting that Amelia had done enough to make Dylan distrust her so much, but I really am thankful to him for saving my life. It gives me goosebumps just thinking that I was a family, even if for a short time, with someone who married my son for our money, and that she planned to kill me, and possibly even my son. My son and I were both very distraught after everything that had happened, but I'm just relieved that I'm still alive, and that my family, who is so important to me, are all safe and sound. Now that everything has been dealt with, my son has returned to his business trip, and as a way of getting over everything that happened, my husband and I are planning to go and visit him and have a little trip. We've already booked a lovely hotel in a safe area and have created an itinerary with a trustworthy tour guide, and we plan on creating wonderful new memories as a family so that we can forget about all of the saddening things that have happened to us this year.